Well, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Wednesday again and again, and ask Dave Fennoy anything because it is 6 p.m. Pacific, and here we are on Facebook Live. A reminder that all the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. So if you missed an episode or you just want to learn some stuff and in your own time, you can go there and check them out. If you are interested in private coaching, you can just click on davefennoy.com and see there, I put up the nice QR code. You can get your phone right up there and click on it, and it'll take you right to my website, davefennoy.com. When you get there, click on the Study VO tab, and you can book yourself. And right now, holiday time, we have a sale going. If you would like to buy a package of 5, 10, or 20, it's quite a bit of a discount and a good time to buy. And maybe not for you, maybe a gift for somebody else. That said, let me bring on my guest, my good friend, Randall Ryan. And because we have an announcement to make. And do you want to make this, or shall I?
It's your show. I think you should do it.
Okay. Well, Randall and I have come up with an idea to have a voiceover workshop, but a voiceover workshop in the beautiful Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And it's strictly for video games. And we are calling it
Game VO Mexico 2023, because it's the first one.
And we put the 2023 on there because we plan to do it 2024, 25, 26, and on and on.
21, 23 will be our 100th year anniversary.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not just the two of us. We've brought some wonderful people in, and we have a great concept. This is the only traveling semi-vacation workshop that is just for video games. That also, includes the vacation. You're in a beautiful spot in the Yucatan. Akumal is the name of I would say city, but it's not a city. It's very remote. It's very private. You turn off the highway and go down a dirt road to another dirt road to another dirt road, and there you are. How would you describe the location?
Well, for starters, it's actually where I live, which is how this whole idea came about, with you and me. We've been talking about this for quite some time now.
Yeah.
This is definitely not something that was just hatched overnight or drawn out on a napkin. But the Caribbean coast of Mexico is pretty magical. There's something very mystical about it. You have all the Mayan ruins that are around. You have all the cenotes, which are, you should look it up rather than me try to describe it here. Cenote, cenote, and look up what they are, but it's just got this whole mystical quality about it. Of course, we are very close to the Caribbean, which is its own brand of beauty. And the biggest thing about Mexico to me, about this part of Mexico, is you get in and it becomes very easy to get focused on whatever it is you're doing. Yes, it can be a vacation, it can be a retreat, but there's also something about it that allows you to be very introspective, and if you are so inclined, to really work. And that was kind of what started you and I talking about this. Like, this would be a really interesting place for people to go because it's getting a little bit out of your element.
It's getting a lot out of your element.
Okay, it's getting a lot out of your element. Let's be real. This is true, but in a really good way, not in an "oh my God, where have you dropped me off" way. Just like, how there are those things that just kind of open you up. And the other side of it, of course, that you and I talked about a lot was how there are a lot of coaches, workshops, other things out there that tend to be a little bit scattered, and that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them. There's a lot of good, but that focus on, we are going to work on this.
And I'm going to bring this up. A lot of people don't know this. Video games are the biggest entertainment industry in the entertainment industry. More money than music and movies combined. It's still a growing business. We are looking at colleges now and universities that have game development programs, and they're beginning to field college gaming teams.
Absolutely.
And it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what are they going to need? Besides the writers, the people who do the music and the programming, they're going to need voice actors.
Yeah.
And you really need to be trained in this. And to that end, the lineup of coaches that we have, myself, Randall, Mark Esdale, another
Yep.
good friend of mine. He has been directing video games for probably about as long as I've been doing them, which is over 20 years.
Yep.
Uh, he has directed hundreds of video games.
Hmm.
He's one of the best known directors in the industry.
Hmm.
Comes out of London. You hear me quote him all the time that this is the exhaust of the acting engine.
Yep.
Gillian Brashear, who has worked with you, Randall, for a long time
Yep.
and is an excellent director. And voice actor Aaron Fitzgerald, who has
Hmm.
been on several hundred games and also does coaching. Highly, highly, highly respected in the field.
Yep.
And our plan is a curriculum that breaks it down to the acting. Uh, because the idea of acting in video games is just that, acting. We have to bring the same kind of performances that you see in movies. Uh,
Hmm.
and so often when we have just words on a page and a microphone, we miss so much. This is going to be 3 days of helping you add everything else in there
Hmm.
with some fine, fine people. And this isn't one of those courses where well, I'll get to work with Dave, but I'd love to work with Mark, but I couldn't, if I'm working with Dave, I can't work with Mark. If I'm working with Gillian, I can't work. No, you'll work with everybody.
Right. Exactly.
You will work with everybody. And go ahead. I know you've got some other points you want to make.
Well, there are a couple of things. One of the things that to me, and this was also something that you and I talked about, which is why we wanted to focus on. I mean, it's easy. Look, I direct a lot of games. You're in a lot of games, so on some level that's easy. But if you remember this, one of the things that you and I have talked about a number of times, just in general chat. Yes, video games are the biggest part of the industry, but also look at how much the gaming industry is now driving every other genre. Commercials are getting far more realistic. Look at the dubbing industry and how all and so Squid Game, they're all video game actors. Every single one of those people was a video game actor, and you kind of understand why, because the whole bringing the performance there that you're doing, it's so video game. It's like, okay, here's the screen, here's the action. It's just you and the director, go. And video game actors are like, oh, I got this, you know. And so the entire way video games are put together is driving everything else. So even if you're doing narration, even if you're doing animation, even if you're doing commercial, video game principles will make you better. And you see it because you don't see commercial actors getting video game roles, but you see video game actors getting commercial roles.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I think one of the reasons that movie actors and television actors do so many commercials is because the acting style there is what we are looking for in video games. And often tell my students, this is going to make you a better voice actor in all the other genres. Hey,
Yep.
listen, now I went down to Mexico with Randall, and my wife Monique accompanied me, and she is what was her title? The
Oh, the
Arbiter of
taste,
Taste.
the arbiter of
Arbiter
taste.
of Taste. Well, we went down and did a location site, and here are some pictures from there. Um, and it's going to be a campus-like atmosphere. There are four different, would you call them resorts?
Yeah, I would. They are. They're four different resorts.
There are four different resorts. This is one of them, and the pool that they have there, and outside at one of them. And there's my beautiful wife, Monique. Um, Four resorts along this dirt road in the jungle, where there are monkeys and toucans and iguanas,
Oh yeah, lots of iguanas.
and it's just fantastic. So it's going to be kind of a campus-like atmosphere. You see some of the rooms that you would be staying in. That's one of the owners of one of the places will be. I just had to take a picture of that beautiful flower. Hey, there we are. Woo-hoo. One of the things has nothing to do with voiceover, but at this restaurant here, where we're eating, we got to watch the turtles climb up out
Oh,
of the
right.
sand and walk to the ocean.
I forgot about that.
It was amazing. It was just amazing. Uh, so this gives you an idea of what it's going to be like when you're there. And I think this just has a few more pictures, and we can get back to some business here. But yeah, there we go. Now, we have been working on this for a while, and we have got our website up now. We are only looking for 14 students. We don't want to make this a big thing. Everybody's going to get plenty, plenty, plenty of one-on-one
Yeah.
from all the coaches. So if you'd like to get on the list or you're just ready to do it, you can go to the website and sign up. But let's see. Oh yeah. Let me bring you up here. And there's some comments that I want to bring up. Some of them maybe came in before we even started talking about it. So forgive me if not all of this is about this thing, but J. Horace Black, always here. Hey, Dave, just saw you dancing on an award show TV commercial just now. Huh. Are you getting residuals for that? LOL. You know, Paul, oh God, what's his name? Sounds of Silence. Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon. A few months ago, we were invited to be as guests in the audience for Paul Simon. He was being honored, and that might be it because we were sitting front row and the camera was coming our way a lot. But hey, could have been something else. I don't know. We've got a reaction here. Dov Dickerson, wow, that's awesome. Whole enchilada, exciting news. You fought for that whole enchilada to be in there. Uh, Terry Briscoe, hey, David Randall. Hey, ask Dave Fennoy anything. Family sounds like a beautiful place. It really is a beautiful place. Theo Mezzacapo, hey, Dave. Sarah Tyndall, glad to be here. Was at Rhoda Phillips' VO party today. Oh, Rhonda Phillips. Oh, I wasn't there. And Sarah says, Aaron coached me on my game demo with Chuck. Love her. Uh, you know, I'm a fairly well-known voice actor in the video game genre, well, voice acting in general, but Erin Fitzgerald, maybe not as many of you know her name as mine, but she's amazing. She's amazing as an actor, and she's amazing as a coach. What's Terry Briscoe got to say here? My God, Dave, what's up? If I get my passport, I might, depending on whether I can swing it or not. I hear you.
You need a passport.
Yeah, you need your passport. And mine is due to expire in February, but I already got my new one. Already got my new one. Whoa, I just looked up cenote, Richoff Jr. The cenotes are beautiful. You can swim in them. They're just gorgeous. Mr. Jim Frank, ladies and gentlemen, my birthday is at the end of April. And Jim, you are just the kind of person that would benefit from this just amazingly. And let's see. Oh, actress and director Lonnie Manella. That's a great idea because acting and having versatility is more key to games than any other genre. Hello, Randall and Dave.
Hi,
Uh,
Lonnie.
yeah. What else we got here? Heath Martin. I met Heath Martin this weekend, or this last weekend, at That's Voiceover and the Silvis Awards. Really good guy. Nice to say hi there, Heath. And we can drop that. Tell me some more, Randall.
I got I got two good Aaron Fitzgerald stories, and I'll try to make them both really, really short. One of the very first projects I ever worked with her, she was supposed to, and first of all, she's a great teacher, but these are both acting stories, okay? And this is like the kind of person she is. So she was supposed to be an Hispanic, like a teenager who was born in Mexico but grew up in the United States. So she's bilingual, mostly spoke English, could bounce back and forth. She starts to do this accent, and the writer says, I think that's too much of an Hispanic accent. She goes, okay, I'm going to start with something really thick and I'm going to roll it back and you tell me when I'm there. And it was like somebody took an analog dial that said Spanish on one side and English on the other, and she just did this and like literally just kind of lost it. Like, that's it. Did this entire session, held it right there the entire time,
Wow.
spoken that accent and that level of accent, everything else. Um, there was another game, really, really good game that unfortunately didn't sell super well, but it was a great game. It's a game called Soul, SOL, Exodus, if you ever want to
Mm,
go out and find it. She has one scene where because, in video games, you get cast for multiple characters.
yeah.
She, when they cast her for this, I made sure that she was good with it. She played the daughter and she played the mother. I won't give you the whole plot, but there's a scene where the daughter is actually going on a suicide mission and her mother is talking to her, and Aaron is playing both parts. Not only can you not tell that it's the same person, but my God, it was just gut wrenching emotional realism. To this day, I don't know how she pulled that off, but she did. That's one of your teachers.
Amazing, yeah, Aaron. I've been on some panels with her before. It's been a while, and of course we have that 2 year, 2.5 years of
Yeah,
the
right.
pandemic that
No panels.
everything went away. And she was amazing. She's one of those people. She's got some quotes on teaching that I want to go. Wait a minute. Let me write that one down. Because as teachers, we are always trying to find ways to get across the message of what is good acting, how to become a good actor, what it is and what it isn't. And you're going to have some great people, myself, Randall, and again, Mark Esdale,
Yep.
Gillian Brashear, and the fabulous Aaron Fitzgerald. And we'll skip the pictures again. We'll go back over here. Got some questions. Will marketing or gig acquisition be covered? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's the world we're living in now is very much a do it yourself world.
Mm-hmm.
Much as I am, as you can see, I've got SAG After. Oh, no, you can't see it. It's on the picture right now, but it's right there. SAG After magazine. Women talking. Um, as much as I'm a union member, proud union member, I recognize the world that we live in. And unfortunately, um, unions are not as popular as they once were. I don't know why the right to work states are really right to pay you less states. Somehow, the moneyed portion of the United States and the world has gotten many of us to believe that somehow you're better off if you're not making as much money, if you don't have good benefits, if you have to bargain for yourself instead of having a group of you standing firm to bargain. So, not everything in the video game world is union. And in this do it yourself world, you have to know how to market yourself. And lots of people talk about the marketing of yourself for narration, for commercials, the things we typically talk about in voiceover. Uh, but you've got to be able to get to the people who are writing and producing and casting the video game. So yes, that will definitely be covered. And let's see, what's Sarah
And
Tyndall?
I'll give one other thing before we go on to the next question. The other thing to bear in mind too is that this has truly become global. I have got a ton of clients now, way more than I ever did in Europe. They do not. We're working to get them up to pay scales that there are in the United States and in Canada and to some degree in London. But outside of the United States, there's also an issue that, you know, a lot of these people are not, even places like London are not used to paying the same rates that they are in the States. And so, but that doesn't mean you turn that work down. And part of the reason you don't turn that work down is those are the indie developers of today. Warhammer is a great example. Started off as a little indie development studio. It's now one of the biggest video games in the world. If you'd gotten in on the ground floor of Warhammer, how big of a deal is that? That's a great example. So you want to get this work, but you need to know how to negotiate it, and you need to know how to ask for that money and how and what to settle for. You know, but how to reach these people. It's all of that. It's way more than we can talk about here.
Oh yeah, let's see. Sarah Tyndall, I love you too, so don't get it twisted. You know, I have a feeling that is in response to something in the chat. Uh, but okay, I'll just pretend it's for us.
It's for you.
Theo, playing multiple parts is something I'm very interested in doing. And, well, if you're doing video games, you are definitely going to be doing that.
Yep.
Oh, you've got another question there. What do you both think is the best way to market yourself for video games and animation versus commercial? Well, it's not so much the difference in how you market yourself, it's getting to the people you need to market yourself to.
Mhm.
The what you are doing is the same thing. You have to identify the people who are casting, the people who are producing, and then you have to have the goods, a good demo, your website to send them to let them know that you exist and you are available to help them in their projects. And I
Yep.
worded that very specifically. I didn't say so you can ask them for work.
Right.
You don't want to ask people for work. Of course, you want work. Uh, but part of thinking about yourself as a professional is not thinking of yourself as somebody in need of something from somebody else. You are
Right.
someone who collaborates with other people to help them get the project done that they want to get done. And I promise you, that frame of mind even will help you in your acting. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
and if you're auditioning, and we are all auditioning, I don't care what you do. Let's see, there we go. I don't care what you do if you're auditioning. Uh, Whatever that little voice is in your head that is distracting you from being the character that you are playing, and I don't care if it's narration, commercial, video game, animation, whatever that little voice is that's distracting you, people hear it. When I'm working with students, so often there'll be a phrase, a line, a few words that they're not quite sure about, and people think they can just slow it down ever so much and then say it just correctly and then return to the speed, and nobody's going to notice. Everybody notices.
Yep.
You're not fooling anybody. There's a phrase, willing suspension of disbelief in
Hmm.
the arts. And when you have lost that, when you've lost your audience because they're no longer willing to have that willing suspension of disbelief, it's because something in your performance, in the script, in the music, something in the performance, not just yours, but it could be someone else's music, so forth and so on, took them out of that comfort zone. It took them out of that place where I'm here, I'm in this world, and I'm believing it. And now suddenly, well, wait a minute. Why did that? You know, you'll a question. Well, why did that character do that? But not a question of in the story why, but that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem to fit this movie, this story, this game.
Hmm.
So you've got to train yourself to get out of your head and allow your inner dialogue to be the dialogue of the character that you're playing.
Absolutely.
Pooh! Let's see. Got a big one from Heath here. Heath Martin, speed dating with your demo at Sovas gave me an opportunity to sit with folks like Melissa Grill and make that connection. I feel a big part of booking ratios is making a connection with those folks so they remember you. And not what we were talking about, but a very good point nonetheless.
Yeah.
And you weren't there, Randall, but I'll talk a little bit about Sovas, and that's
Hmm.
voiceover. There are my two favorite conventions, and by the way, Game VO Mexico is not a convention. Um,
No, it's not.
but my two favorite conventions are That's Voiceover and VO Atlanta. They seem to bring the most people with something to share. One of the things that has happened with That's Voiceover, it used to be on Saturday, the Sovas on Sunday. Well, they have upped the ante, and now it begins on Thursday. So you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the amount of information you get, the number of people you get to connect with, uh, is just amazing. And if you're somebody who is in this business and has never gone, well, after you go to Game VO Mexico in at the end of April, um, save a little money for one of those two, VO Atlanta or That's Voiceover. And the Sovas Awards, I remember when it started, I was the booth announcer on the very first one. And there were a lot of people, oh, who are Joan and Rudy to put this on? There were
Hmm.
a lot of people, well, why should we pat ourselves on the back? Well, because we should. Because for the Grammys, musicians patting themselves on the back, the industry patting itself on the back, the Academy Awards, the industry, movie makers patting themselves on the back. Every entertainment field has a way of recognizing the hard work we do, the good work we do, the chance to pat ourselves on the back, get together with our fellow actors, in our case, voice actors, and celebrate ourselves. And it's important. And I'm so glad that that's working for them. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Rich Hoff, what prerequisite VO experience would be best to have prior to getting into video games? Good question, Randall. You got an answer for me?
Ooh. I don't think there's any one path. I don't think that there is such a thing as what's the best thing to do. um, Acting is acting, right? I actually, if I could say anything, I know this is not as popular in the United States as it is in other places, but consider going to drama school. Consider taking acting lessons at least. Maybe it's not going to drama school, but taking acting lessons. Study the craft, not as a genre, but as the craft of acting. It's just kind of like being a musician, right? If you want to be a songwriter, the first thing you got to do is learn an instrument. I think what you got to do is you got to learn your instrument. And the instrument is not just your voice, but it's also just the ability to act. That would be where I would start. But I'm not sure if you have a thought on that. Like uh, video game, it's I
Well,
don't know that like I mean
I,
animation and video games are kissing cousins, but outside of that, you
yeah.
know,
I had an acting background as a child. As a kid, I was acting at Caramoo House in Cleveland. My parents made sure I got an arts background as well as a good education, reading, writing, arithmetic. But painting, sculpture, modern dance, music, and acting. The music and the acting stuck.
yeah.
Those are the things that I have done most in my adult life. And one of the reasons we are doing this is because of the acting part that so many voice actors who say want to get into video games have a
Hmm.
problem with. You can have a wonderful voice and develop a style and have a great career in a number of things in voiceover. Um, TV promos, for instance. You can develop a style and working that for years, and it's one of the most lucrative things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Switching out of promos into animation, video games, not so easy. A lot easier to go from animation, video games to doing promos than
Absolutely.
vice versa.
Absolutely.
Um, Narration. You can be a great narrator with a great voice who has a style. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that style is not always going to translate into a wide variety of characters. However, we've got a lot of actors, great actors, doing a lot of narration. So the better actor you are, the more you understand the connection with the human condition and can bring that through yourself, uh, the more you'll be able to work in all the genres. Uh,
I
you got
got,
a
I
thought?
got, I
You
got.
got a thought?
Well, yeah, I actually have something. So I told an Aaron story earlier. I'm going to tell a Gillian story. This is from the last couple of weeks. So Gillian and I actually just did a workshop in London, and it was just the way this was set up. She kind of took day one for the most part. It was a 2 day workshop. A really well-known voice actor. I'm not going to say who it is. Super good actor. If I mention the name, probably everybody knows who this person is. Took the workshop, and at first I was like, "Wow, that's really interesting." You know, Gillian took him on the first day, and not in a bad way. What I'm going to say sounds like she berated him. It's like, no, not at all, just the kindest way. But she just broke him down because one of the things that he was not doing. So the first day she took everybody and stripped away all characters. So it's you. So be like, Dave, I know this is a teenager. I know this is blah 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 and doing this, but you're going to do this as you. So just remember what it was like when you were a teenager, but use your voice now, use your bearing now. That's where she started people with, and she took this person and just it was amazing to watch these light bulbs go off with him. Like, because I've been doing this, what the word used, style, this type of style I've been doing for so long, and I forgot, you could just see it, how to really start with this acting. And this person who's really well known and really good, by the time we started putting characters on, was like, wow, that's just incredible. But he had to be broken back down. This is somebody with a multi-decade career,
Yeah.
you know.
It's interesting. I've worked with some on camera actors, stage actors with video games and voiceover of various kinds. And they often come into it. They're concentrating too much on the words on the page and the microphone, which we find a lot. And despite the fact that they're good actors, they don't recognize that they need to bring the same tools uh, to voiceover. They think,
Right.
oh, well, I'm just reading these words and I've got this microphone right here, and they forget movement. Your body informs your voice.
Absolutely.
They forget what are you reacting to? What is it that you want? What's the arc of this character? Even if we're talking about what's the arc of this voiceover in this commercial, they often
Mm-hmm.
forget about those things because, well, the costume, the reacting to that actor that they had on stage or on camera makes a big difference. They've memorized the script. They don't have to read it.
Right.
Uh, we have to find ways with just words on a page and a microphone to recreate those things in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Too often we're worried about reading the words correctly. Oh, I want to read these accurately. I want to make sure I enunciate and pronounce everything. We're reading words and not phrases. We're uh, paying too much attention to periods and commas. And we need to learn how to let that go and let these words just be the words of this character that we're playing, who is going through, has this particular worldview and is going through whatever they're going through in this particular moment in time.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something else too that also plays along with that. So, and I'm sure you've seen this too with your students and just with other people. So that character voice comes on, right? And how many times do people allow that character voice to be the acting? I put this voice on here, and that becomes the act. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's that connection with humanity. That voice is merely the filter
Yes.
that your acting goes through. That's really a hard concept for a lot of people to get. And, and that was the thing with the actor I was talking about. There's that style that he's got. And he puts everything through that. It had ceased becoming filter and became almost caricature. He's really, really good, but all of a sudden getting him to think in a different way,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's the acting, connection with humanity, and that character is just a filter. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more complicated than that, and it's not like you can't let the character be part of your performance, but the character's a little item. The acting, the humanity, that connection, that's the big item.
Okay, we're going to go a little off topic here because it's Ask Dave Fennoy anything.
Right.
Terry Briscoe, sorry to go off topic, but Dave, I have a question. Do you feel like getting a radio imaging demo is still viable with a rapid decrease in listeners, or do you feel that a promo demo is a better option? Well, you know, radio has changed, but we have a lot more opportunities for radio like experience. Uh, Pandora and all the other
Right.
streaming music services, many of them have imaging voices.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say just give up on the idea of radio imaging. Just realize that radio imaging um, has changed a little bit. It's still there. I know a number of people who have very good careers in radio imaging, but most of it isn't on the radio, if you know what I
Right.
mean. And a hello to BZ Collins. Evening, gentlemen. Holiday blessings right back at you, my brother.
Easy.
Um, let's see. Jeremy Adams. When reaching out with a new video game demo, is it better to go through agents or can you connect creative directors of gaming studios directly? Why not do both?
Exactly.
I think it's perfectly viable. I know when I got into this business, um, one of the things they would suggest you do is send your demo, even when it was on a quarter-inch reel and then on cassettes, then
Yep.
on DATs. Send your reel to broadcast producers, to TV stations for the promo department, to the
Mhm.
various places. Your whatever that demo was, animation demo, send it to the animators.
Yeah.
So yeah, your agent will have that, but help your agent out. And I promise you, if you're not doing it, everybody else is. And once again, I don't think we're in a business where the competition is cutthroat, but there is competition. Um, Fortunately, there's more work in voiceover now than ever before. But there are more people knocking on the doors now than ever before. So once again, my answer: uh, your agents have your demo; they're going to be pushing you, but you might as well push yourself. You're going to find sometimes, especially if you're a gamer, that there's certain gaming companies that you like their stuff. You'd love to be on it. It's that extra little thing. Oh, I'd love to be on those games. Uh, that's the message to them. Hi, I'm so and so. I'm a video game. I'm a voice actor. I've done da 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 video games. I love your games. Would love to interface with you guys and get something going. Once again, I didn't say ask for a job.
Right.
Never ask for a job. Let's see. Storm Waters. After going to your get your game on, I'd love to go go to all the other VO occasions, VO conventions. Yeah. Get Your Game On was great. And Terry again. We work as hard as any other people in the entertainment industry. We absolutely should be celebrated as much as they are. That's one of the things I find with this a conversation you had 10 minutes ago. The comments show up 10 minutes later, or you just get to them 10 minutes later. Sarah Tyndall, I love that, Randall. Acting. Just because I'm in my comfy clothes in my studio does not make it not acting.
That's right. That's true. That's a correct.
Oh, well, I'm glad you said comfy clothes instead of pajamas. because I really got tired of people. Oh, you got a studio in your house, so you work in your pajamas? No, I don't work in my pajamas. I get dressed. I
Right.
may be comfortable, maybe a t-shirt and jeans, but no, not my pajamas. Besides, I sleep naked. Let's see. Lonnie Manella. Acting for on screen is done completely differently than animation or games. On screen, you're not supposed to use big facial gestures as it looks bad or fake. They tell you not to pay attention to words or punctuation, whereas we move a lot more when acting for games. Just saying. Uh, I really think they're very much the same. We have to truncate our motion because we do have to stay on mic. Um, and we have to be subtle for the microphone in the same way they have to be subtle for a close up on camera. Um, and if you really pay attention to acting, there's huge, big, loud, boisterous scenes in movies and very quiet scenes in movies. It's all the same. It really is all the same. Uh, da, 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 Terry again. We actually had a few on-camera actors up for audiobook narration Sovas Awards this year, and one of them, Hayden Panettiere. Yeah, she did. I saw that, and I remember seeing her name up, and I went, "Wow, that's still not going to get me to be an audiobook narrator. I don't care what you say. I've done three. I hope to never do a fourth." Virginia, I love that about acting. There's always something new to learn, and very much like athletes, every great athlete has a coach. All those big money people have a coach, whether it's golf, tennis, and yeah, I'll include golf in sports. And a lot of people say that's not a sport. Uh, Golf, tennis, basketball, baseball, everybody's got a coach to help you stay on your game. Uh, we all should have coaches. I promise you, I, from time to time, still go and coach with somebody whose ears and method I trust. Rich, perhaps inane, but
Correct.
would you say pigeon holding is a thing in video games? If by that you mean can you be pigeonholed as an actor? Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, I think of my friend Don LaFontaine, rest his soul. I'm not sure he would ever consider himself to have been pigeonholed in doing movie trailers and dramas for promos, but um, I think was more that he was making so much money he didn't need to do anything else. When you're making $30,000-$40,000 a day, why bother with other things?
Right.
And it made him so in demand. Probably he couldn't do other things. But having known him, having sat there when he read poetry from time to time, uh, he probably could have done anything he wanted to do in acting. Let's see. I miss Heath. I miss Dat and ADAT. There's some people in this who are too young to remember DATs and ADATs. Um, Jim Frank, is there a discount on rooms if I want to go a week early or stay a few days? That's a good question. Um,
I'm actually talking to everybody about that right now. I actually sent a thing out to all the property owners today asking exactly that. I think the answer is probably going to be yes, but I can't give you definitive right now.
yeah.
So
I think
we'll probably yes.
a number of us, I know Randall and I, will be down there early. So we'll be there a few days before and might stay a few days after because we'll need to recoup.
Right. There's there's a beach.
Yeah, there's a beach and turtles going to the ocean and really
Right.
good food. Let's see. Sarah Tyndall again. I really hope to be in a place where I can attend, go to some game conventions or training. Dave, do you email those events out to you? Do you email these events out or do you recommend I'm going to make it a goal? Well, right now, top on my list is Game VO Mexico 2023. That's what's tops on my list right now. But I will say the same thing. That's voiceover and VO Atlanta, fantastic.
Yeah.
And once again, if we are talking um, Game VO 2023, everything is covered except your airfare. You've got to get your airfare there, but everything else is covered. Your meals are covered. Your transportation to and from the airport is covered. And now, if there's some things that you want to do, stay a little longer, that's not on us, but we can help you facilitate those things. There are pyramid ruins there that you might want to go see. Maybe on a Friday night or a Saturday night, you might want to head to Tulum
Hmm.
and hope that when you come back, you're still the same person.
There's that.
But
But there are the snow things. There's the island of Cozumel, which is a really fascinating place. If you want to go a little bit more out up towards Cancun, there's a place called Isla Mujeres. That's a really interesting island that's off the coast. That's a little more isolated. It's not expensive to get to. There's a ton of things around here. So
Jim Frank with a well-timed question: where do you fly into? That would be Cancun.
Cancun.
And there are flights from everywhere into Cancun. And just because I was so proud of myself for putting this together, I'm throwing this up again, where you get a chance to see. I literally, we had taken a lot of pictures, and the ocean is close, so the beaches are close. You can get to the beaches from the jungle where we are. Um, but I had taken a lot of pictures, and so I would remember what it was. And I thought, I should put pictures up today. People need to see how beautiful this is and how nice the places are where we'll be staying and eating. And this place you're looking at now, that is where we'll eat every day. And this is what one of the rooms looks like. Some of the rooms, a little swing outside. But I put this together in about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and was able to throw it up just so you can get a feel. And those smiles are real. Those smiles are real. And they're the turtles. And I actually have a video, I didn't put it up, of the turtles doing their little crawl to the beach. And, you would think they would all go at the same time, but they don't. There'll be one brave turtle that goes, you know what, I'm getting out of here, man. And he'll start and he'll stop a little bit and he'll fall in a sand hole and he'll work his way out. Little by little, he's crawling and he'll stop for a little bit. I need a rest, man. Well, I didn't think the ocean was that far away. And then he'll keep going and he'll finally hit the water and it'll wash him on out there. And then another one will go and then another. And after a while, they all start their doing, well, I guess he made it. He didn't call out for help or anything, so I guess he's not coming back. Let's go, guys. Come on. But, you read about this as a kid. You might have seen it on television, but to see these baby turtles, hatch, come up out of the sand and walk to the ocean, it's amazing. One of the places we ate, and what's the name of that restaurant again?
Were you thinking jungle fish or were you thinking
Jung,
beach bikini?
a beach
Jungle
bikini.
fish?
Beach
Oh,
bikini.
beach bikini.
The restaurant serves partially as a rescue for turtles.
Yeah,
They
right.
make sure that sea turtles, that when the turtles come ashore and they dig their holes, they mark them so they know where they are and help them stay away from predators and help you get to see them, but at the same time, with the understanding, look, you're standing here, leave them alone. You can only flash this kind of light. It's got to be red light, not white
Yep.
light. And nature, in her wisdom, makes sure that the turtles come up and go to the ocean at night, saves them from predators. Just an amazing, amazing thing. Um, let's see. How does someone get a great video game demo? Wink, wink. Yes, I'm working. I'm working with Jim on his. Um, will the event be recorded? Well, we are going to be doing some recording of the event. Now, whether we will be making it available for sale or not is a whole other thing. All right, Janice Johnson Hunter, very nice accommodation. They are. They are. And along with the accommodations, we'll have a map of the grounds. We'll help you know what you should bring and what you shouldn't bring. We'll make sure you get the right stuff for what the weather is, and bug spray. Yeah. Another turtle made it to the sea. Woohoo! And Kimberly Crookshanks McDermott. That's so cool. It is. It really was. It really was. You got anything? Got anything else you want to say? Did we miss anything?
I haven't talked about Mark.
Oh,
I So I have watched Mark. So you and I have been in some separately. I don't think you and I ever were in conversations with Mark. I'll bet you've got stories like this too.
oh, we
Mark
have conversations at least several times a year.
Mark is one of the most fascinating people in this industry. He is wickedly smart. He has got here's the lovely thing about Mark. You know what? We all say the same thing. Mark says it in a very different way than you do or I do. And sometimes it almost sounds like he's at odds with what you're saying until you really strip it back and go back like, no, he comes at it kind of from over here. And
Yeah.
that's kind of genius. What's the one thing he talks about talking about the spies, about
Oh
how
yes.
spies are the best actors because your life depends on it, and you
Yes.
can't. You probably know the quote. You probably know his quotes better than I do on that.
Well, yes, because you are in the moment, and as an actor, you're in the moment. You're reacting in the moment because, and I like to talk about stage actors. A lot of times, I think the reason that we think, oh, there's one way to say this line,
Yeah,
is because of television and movies, and our favorite actors have said that line, and we've repeated it the same way. But go to a play 5 nights in a row.
absolutely.
Those actors are going to say those lines very differently. The pacing will be different. The energy will be different. Why? Because of an audience, because of the individual actors and how they are feeling that particular day. But as long as they are staying in character and being true to the character they are playing, it's going to be great. It's
Yeah,
going to be great. So, what Mark's idea is just that be in character, be this character, be honest to this character, and don't come out of it or you lose your life,
right.
which is a little bit like being a method actor. I sometimes
Yep.
say you're a method actor line by line. I'm not a particular fan of the idea of method acting because why subject your friends and family to weeks and months of you're playing this terrible person that then has to do terrible things to stay in character. Um, but when you're on the set, in the studio, behind the microphone, you have to be that character. I
Yeah.
often will say, look, I want you familiar with the copy. Mark would say, I don't want you to be familiar. I just want you to read it. I think there are too many strange words and whatnot to become familiar with to not familiarize yourself with the copy. You want to know what that emotional and attitudinal journey is of the character. But I don't plan reads anymore. I don't, oh, well, I'm going to hit this word. I'm going to go up on this. I plan, well, I'm reacting to this. I'm thinking this. I'm feeling this. And I am this character whose worldview is this. And now go. And the reads will be very, very different from take one to take two. They'll be in character. And one of the things I get to joke about with when I'm on a session now, because I hear it all the time, say, gosh, those are, 3 really good takes. We don't know which one to take. And my joke is, well, that's my job, to
That's
give
right.
you great takes that you have a hard time trying to decide which one you want to use.
I'm going to tell you something that you do. This is something I would say that is equal to that both you and Gillian and Aaron do very, very well, because I've worked with all three of you. You're all very good at picking a journey. At I don't think it's conscious. I don't think you think, oh, I'm going to start here and I'm going to end there. But that idea that whatever you're doing, even if it's one line, is a bit of a journey. There is a certain, I'm going to start here, I'm going to end there. It's something innate. It's not planned. I've watched all three of you do it. I have watched, you and Aaron do it in kind of ways that are just sometimes mystical to me, which is great. That's what you're supposed to do, right? But that the understanding of that, that's the art of acting. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I got 5 words, but we're going to start here and end there.
yeah. Um, let's see. Had a question that just Ritchoff Jr. I love his whole full name, Richelieu. Richelieu.
Richelieu,
Yeah.
Richelieu. That's beautiful.
Very French. Oh, so then in gigs, will you ever be asked to repeat lines the exact way you said prior? As a matter of fact, you will, and that's the only time to really do it. And it generally happens because there was some technical problem.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I'm trying to repeat something the exact same way. And I tell you the other thing that it helps you with, it frees you up to be an even better actor when it's not about, oh, if I say it like this works, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm this character and I've created the scenario for myself and where I am in this room or outside or proximity to this character with whom I have this particular relationship. And I'm saying these words that I feel this about, or I'm lying to this person. And what's the subtext? What's my inner dialogue? When I'm there, um, it doesn't matter. 5 takes are all going to be different. They're all going to be in character. They're all going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Let's see. I suspect the specs his scripts have are very full, but with some auditions, I have to use the dialogue to get hints about the character. Golda,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And I'm surprised sometimes, and this is one of the things I will definitely focus on, is making sure that we are paying attention to all the clues that are given to us in the script. Sometimes it seems like we haven't gotten enough. But I often find we actors can be lazy. We're not even reading the stage directions. I will ask
Yeah.
my students questions. We've got the script. They did it. Well, okay, well, what's happening here? Where's this taking place? And it's right there in the stage directions, and they haven't paid attention.
Yep.
These are the kinds of simple things, uh, that little things that maybe you're not thinking about, that you'll be thinking about every time you approach a script now. And there's way too many of them for me to just mention here. Uh, but Randall, Gillian, Aaron, Mark, myself, uh, we will be having you answer those questions. And once you answer those questions for yourselves, you discover you become a better actor. You
Mm-hmm.
stop trying to work so hard on saying if I say this like this will tell the story of this character. Uh, and I promise you, you'll be able to go a certain distance with that.
Yeah.
But you're always going to run into a wall, because they're always going to hear, oh, he or she is trying to prove to me, the casting director, that they know what this script is all about.
Yeah.
And you got to let that go. That is not your intention. Your intention is to play this character believably.
Yep. Who? Yeah. Who are you? How do you feel about the situation? How do you feel about the person you're talking to? What's your motivation? All of that is more important, I would argue, than the words on the page.
Yeah, absolutely. The words only give the tale of what you're thinking and feeling.
Yep.
If you could grunt it out, uh, uh,
Absolutely. Al Pacino in The Godfather has one of the greatest scenes in cinema. He doesn't say a word. Now, obviously, for a voice actor, you can't do that, but that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah,
That how to get all that emotion out. And so, if you're doing it with your voice, how do you get all that emotion? How do you get frustration, anger, resignment, and maybe a bit of grudging admiration all in one line? You
yeah,
can do it because we do it in real life,
yeah.
but you have to know how that character feels and why.
Well, you know what? Ding, the clock goes off, 7 o'clock.
Boo!
So, gamevomexico.com, the site is up. We are only looking for 14 students. You will get a chance to work with everybody: Dave Fennoy, Randall Ryan, Mark Esdale, Gillian Brashear, Aaron Fitzgerald. We will be breaking that 14 up into 7 and 7. We will be having not only structured classes to take you from acting basics to uh, simulated uh, gigs, uh, but we're going to have sessions every day that are just Q&A. You know, from yesterday, those questions that you have today, uh, those questions that pop up. A little bit of time every day will be spent just for that. Anyway, Randall, anything else you want to say?
Hi, Dave. It's always wonderful to work with you. I'm really looking forward to this. How's that?
Yeah,
I
there we
love
go.
working. I seriously love it. I love working with you as actor director. I love working with you teaching. You and I have taught some things, a number of things together. I learned so much from you. Um, I just enjoy the hell out of it. So I'm really looking
Uh,
forward.
well, it's right back at you. Right back at you. Anyway, we're going to call it gamevomexico.com, April 27th through the 30th. And I am not going to see you on Ask Dave Fennoy anything again until 2023. I'm wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, or Merry Christmas Hanukkah Kwanzaa. Um, and I'm looking forward for everybody the very best 2023. I hope it's your best year yet, but not nearly as good as all the years to come.
That's fabulous.
All right. Bye, everybody.